Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikum salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Please introduce yourself, your name, where you are from, and what is your religion before Islam.
My name is Kasta, so originally born and raised in Australia, but currently now living in Kuala Lumpur here in Malaysia. And I've reverted to Islam about 13 years ago.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Prior to that, even though I was exposed to some religions over the years, I was agnostic. So I always believed that there was a creator, but which one I didn't know. Yeah, so that was pretty much overall my background there.
So how is your life before Islam?
Wow, before Islam, okay. Like I mentioned, I was exposed to some religions over the years since my childhood. Growing up in Australia, there was Christians, Muslims. I even had a lot of contact with Jews as well. It left a bad taste in my mouth. I saw a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of lying, a lot of people claiming to be religious, but their actions, their behavior, it was no different from those who didn't follow a religion. So I just thought everybody were hypocrites. So I stayed away from all religion. I didn't want anything to do with it. I was very confused. I didn't know who was right, who was wrong. Everybody claims to be telling the truth, but everyone lived exactly the same lives. So on the outside, they're all pious people, but in the background, not at all. So I didn't have the best experience with religion. So I just tried to do good and live my life, treating people the way I would like to be treated. And that was pretty much it until the age of 27.
Wow. Now, Castor, please tell us about your journey to Islam.
Like I said, I was simply just trying to live my life in a good way, the best way that I can, treating others the way I would like to be treated. And but my life felt very empty, very shallow. I tried to fill it with material things, chasing the dunya as we do, chasing that dollar. But as much as I made, as high up the corporate ladder I got, there was no contentment, so nothing was satisfying me. So I didn't know what I was missing. So I got to a point where I just didn't care about any of my wealth anymore. Nothing made me happy. And one day I was in the office and I had a knock on the door, and it was Jehovah's Witnesses.
Wow.
Yeah, preaching the Bible. Normally I would have fun with these guys, but I was so bored this day. I said, come in. So they took out the Bible. I go for it. Give me your spiel. So I let them read, and they gave me some magazines. I said, good on you, see you later, and off I went. So this continued for 3 months, once a month, and I never used to read anything they would give me. It was just more for entertainment, to pass the time. After some time, the 4th month they didn't come, the 5th month they didn't come. I thought, something's not right here. Where are these guys, you know? My monthly entertainment was missing. So I picked up their magazines and had a read, and I was liking what I was reading, you know, like about living a clean life, a godly life, and all of this type of thing, and it pulled some strings in there. So I kept reading and reading. Next time they came, I asked them, I said, give me a Bible. So they gave me the Bible, and I started reading, and well, obviously if you've read the Bible, you know, very, very difficult to understand. So next time they came, I said, look, introduce me to somebody who can teach me this, you know, so I can study and learn properly. So they did that, and I continued those studies for almost 2 years, I would say. And one thing not many people actually knew, even those who knew me didn't notice at the time, I was suffering from an incurable brain disease. It's a very, very painful condition, one of the most painful conditions actually known to mankind, to be honest. And alhamdulillah, it was just caused me a lot of pain when I would try to study and focus. At this stage I was pretty much finished studying the Bible, and I was at the bookshop one day and I saw the Quran in English. So I thought, I remember this one. So I took it and brought it home and started reading. One thing I forgot to mention though, when I was studying the Bible, I came across a number of things which no scholar, nobody could answer. And I would write this down. So I had 4 pages complete, full of questions. that nobody could answer.
Subhanallah.
No, 3 scholars, Christian scholars I went to, not one could answer these questions. I was simply told you just have to have faith. That's not going to work on me. So I need to see it. I need the facts. So I put these away. It's been sitting in my filing cabinet for a few months. So I'm reading the Quran. I read it once, just briefly skimmed through, second time, and slowly I'm adding notes, putting marks in there here and there. So I did this 5 times. So by now I had probably 100 bookmarks throughout the Quran. And somehow, I don't know, after the 5th time, I remembered all the questions that I had from months ago from the Bible. And I thought, let's see if I can find them in here. So I pulled them out of the cabinet and started going through, and one by one, I was finding all the answers.
You mean questions in the Bible get answered by the Quran?
Yes. It blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And not just a few of them, I mean literally every single question.
Wow.
All 4 pages. I didn't need an imam to explain it, I didn't need a scholar to explain it. Just in a basic English translation, using common sense, I was able to find these answers. And I remember sitting there, I was in agony. Like, it was very painful, my condition. So I had the Quran here and I had the Bible here right in front of me. And when I got through the final question, I'm looking at the 2 books. I just remember pushing aside the Bible, bringing the Quran closer and saying, this is the one. This is the one. This one has all the answers. This is the one I'm going to follow. So I made that decision, and I did something at this point that I don't think I've done before. So I made dua, and I was praying to Allah specifically, asking for forgiveness. This was my first prayer I was making to Allah. And what I was asking, it wasn't for money or material things. I asked for one thing, because I still wanted to learn about Him. All I wanted to learn was about Him. Who is He, you know? What is He to us? What's the relationship we have with God? That's what I wanted to know. So I said, when I open your book and I read about you, please take away my pain. When I'm finished and I close the book,
Can you tell us a little bit more about your pain?
Alright, let me try and explain this one. Imagine a really long, thin needle, a metal needle that's been sitting in the fire. So it's hot now. You take this needle and stab yourself on top of your eye, bring it back to the back of your brain and just pull it back and forth like that. If you can imagine what that would feel like, that's what it felt like. Sometimes it would happen randomly, but mainly would happen when I'm focusing for a long period of time, concentrating on anything. So yeah, it's nicknamed the suicide disease. So no cure for absolutely nothing. So this is what I was going through, and I was in the process of preparing for brain surgery during this stage.
Wow.
So anyway, this was what I asked, and then I ended that dua. That was all I asked for at that time. And the next day, when I woke up, I usually would feel some pain, but I didn't feel anything. Actually, I felt supercharged, like full of energy. So I thought, wow, this is good, I'm making most of it. So I went for a run by the beach and came back, and I still felt really good. I didn't know what was happening. So the next day, I had to go in for an MRI, preparing for brain surgery. So I did that, came back home. I think it was another 1 or 2 days later, I got a call from the hospital. They're saying, you need to come in immediately to see the neurologist. I was expecting the worst. By this stage, I didn't really care. Even if it was death, no problem. So I went in, and I'll never forget the look on this the neurologist's face. He's just sitting there, just giving me this weird look. And up behind me on the wall was the picture, the scan of the MRI from my initial diagnosis years ago to the one that was done a couple of days before. He only had one light on and the other one was off. And he's pointing at the first one. He goes, look at that. What do you see? I take a look at the MRI. I said, yeah, this is my scan, and this is where my problem is in the brain.
Okay.
He goes, flip the switch on the next one. So I did it. Light comes on. I'm looking at the picture. He goes, what do you see here? It looks like a completely different picture. I'm looking at it. I don't know what this is. I don't recognize this. He goes, this is the MRI from the day before. And I'm trying to process what he's trying to tell me. I didn't understand. Have you been seeing any doctors behind my back? I'm like, no, I haven't been cheating on you. You're my only doctor, you know. And he goes, have you been taking any different medications? And I said, no. I stopped, by this stage, I stopped taking all the hospital medications because nothing was working. So I said, no, I'm not taking anything. He said, are you doing something different? something changed in your lifestyle? I said, no. I said, tell me what's going on. And he's leaning back in his chair and he's stroking his little beard and he's shaking his head. He goes, I don't know how to explain this to you. And he goes, the only thing I can think of is that this is some miracle from God. He said, you are completely cured.
Wow.
He said, we don't need to do surgery on you. He said, everything has fixed itself.
So this disease that you got is supposed to be a very hard to cure disease, is it?
It's impossible. There is no cure. The best they can do is brain surgery and try to separate some blood vessels and nerves so they don't wrap around each other or something like this. This is the best that they can do.
Wow.
And even that, there's no guarantee.
SubhanAllah.
So my brain started processing this information, and then I remembered the dua that I made, and I thought, hang on, I only asked to take the pain away while I'm reading the Quran. That's what I asked for. What's going on here? I asked for this, and what I was given was priceless. Allah did my surgery for me. He performed the surgery. I was speechless. And I just stood there thinking, I already made the decision that this was it, this was the religion, Islam is the way. But after having my tiny little dua answered in this way, I said to myself, okay, now I'll be praying 5 times a day from now.
Wow.
I'm changing my life completely. I have to, because I was still involved in a haram job at that time. I said, I have to change my income, make it a halal income. I wanted to go the full 9 yards. I didn't want to do anything by halves. I wanted to go all in. So this was it. I made this decision while standing there in the doctor's office. So I went home, immediately started cleaning up my life, changing everything. That same night, I made dua, asking for forgiveness for everything. And I didn't know Shahada cleans you. I didn't know. I hadn't got to that part yet.
You mean that you haven't taken Shahada yet?
No. So technically I wasn't a Muslim yet until about a year later that I actually did the Shahada. But completely changed my life after that, and everything that I would learn in the Quran, and I was also studying Hadith as well. So everything that I would learn, I would immediately put it into practice. Immediately. No questions asked. And I continued to do this over time. 1 year later, that's when I started meeting Muslims. So for this first year, it was just me and the Quran and the Bukhari. That was it for the first year. So this is pretty much my journey to Islam.
So is it hard to be a Muslim?
Is it hard? I can tell you from experience, it's hard not to be a Muslim.
So thank you very much,